Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your nation, know yourself. Okay, so this evening I have a very, very special show for you guys. You will see over here to my side is my friend Daniel Browne, fellow wizard. Yeah.
Hello.
And tonight we're going to be having a very special chat. We're going to be talking about current events, but we're also going to be talking about what we've been observing in the world, things that are happening. So just so you know, we are currently coming live from Gran Canaria, and it is Dan's 50th birthday today. So happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you. I don't feel it yet.
Yeah, he's not feeling it, and he certainly doesn't. He certainly doesn't look it. But you know, there you are. These things. So in tonight's show, we're going to talk about a few things. So just to introduce you, so Dan is a healer. He is an intuitive, and he is also an archetypal consultant. So he does a lot of work. You've done some training with Caroline Mace as well, haven't you?
Yes, I'm certified archetypal consultant with Caroline Mace.
Exactly, and you also help people with their businesses and stuff like that. So one of the things that Dan can do, which is remarkable, is that as part of his archetypal consultancy, he can a business person like anyone who is employing someone, he can read the business archetypally, the employees, and he can work out the issues in the business that need to be fixed. And he's helped many of his clients do this. And don't you also have a client as well that also showed up on Oprah as well?
I do, yes.
Yeah. What was that? What's she called?
Can I reveal? I'm not sure if I can.
Of course you can reveal. Come on, of course. Don't be shy. You see how modest he is. He's kind of a bit more of a secret wizard. Yeah. Come on, let rip.
Well, Brooke Baldwin. So we actually don't know her in the UK, but she's quite.
Baldwin.
Yeah, she's quite known in the US. She used to be on CNN.
Is that all that she's
Brooke Baldwin?
Brooke Baldwin.
Yeah.
So Brooke Baldwin, folks, and what she used to be on CNN.
Yeah, she used to be CNN news anchor.
Ah, CNN news anchor. And how did you help her with what did she come? I mean, you don't have to give details of her personal thing, but what is it that she came to you for? How did you help her?
So I helped her with her archetypal blueprint, essentially, her archetypal consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she was really good.
So basically understand herself archetypally, how she works, how she should promote herself in the world, stuff like that.
Yeah, and just kind of, when people do an archetypal consultancy session, it's all about where they are and guidance on where they want to get to and what are their strengths and weaknesses and how to move forward.
Oh, okay. So she was able to basically understand herself archetypally, intuitively, based on archetypes, and based on that, she was able to make a strategy going forward.
Absolutely, yes.
There you are. So tonight, folks. So look, I'm just going to let you know. Look, confession here, folks. We've just come out from being out on the town because it is Dan's birthday. Our friends are downstairs, and we put them out in the yard because they were making too much noise, and we were picking them up on the camera. But, so we're going to be together in the usual way for the next hour. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to have Daniel on, because we've been friends for a long time, like
many years,
20 plus years. It's like 20 plus years. And what Dan and I have, we have we call it our Wizardy chats. This is where we talk about sort of like very sort of like high esoteric concepts. We look at the world. We talk about the energies at play. We talk a lot about magic. Dan, by the way, didn't you also study Kabbalah for a while as well?
I did, actually, yes.
Yeah. When did you start doing Kabbalah? Quite a while.
This was like 2007, 2008, when Madonna was at the Kabbalah Center. That's not the reason why I joined, but
she was there.
She was there. It was just coincidence. Yeah. But, and she spoke to me once. Actually, I was surprised. I was like, "Are you talking to me?"
So you could have told me that she spoke to you.
Yeah. It was once, and I was quite surprised. But yeah, she said hello, so that was quite cool.
So he's met Madonna, but he didn't do Kabbalah just
no, it was just coincidence.
Exactly, it was coincidence, and you were interested, and particularly as well, Daniel has done a lot of work as well on the Tree of Life, and particularly as well with like archetypal magic as well, particularly things as well with like what was some of the invocations?
Yeah, so the archangels and the 72, the Shem angels as well. So the 72 angels of God with Kabbalah and the archangels. So yeah, and I can evoke the archangels and speak to them. So it's very powerful, very beautiful experience.
Because you've used that a lot as well in your work, isn't it, to help clients and stuff? You know, like
I don't usually tell people that actually. There's a for the VIP clients.
So just so you know, Daniel, obviously, I'm an out there wizard, yeah. As you guys know, you guys watching and all that stuff. And actually, we've got 308 of you here right now. So thank you so much for joining us live. And please be sure as well to like and subscribe and share, and also press the hype button as well. That's something else. So Dan, like I've been sort of like very much out there. Dan has a lot of wizardy powers, as you can already glean from what we've shared. But he's been more kind of shy about this, and in a way this is kind of me sort of like busting him out of his wizardy closet here in public, so you guys can kind of see. But no, we have lots of chats, don't we? We have deep existential chats about society. We've also as well been talking about AI quite a lot as well. As you guys know, I'm a little bit more skeptical on AI, but Dan, you've kind of used AI a bit, and you see like the pros and the cons. And let me just make sure. Let's just check our notes here. What was one of the things that we wanted to talk about with AI?
So I think, should we just jump in?
Yeah, just dive in.
Overall, so I would say AI is probably.
Do you want to take the eye?
Oh, yeah, this is the eye.
We use this term, guy, called the eye. Yeah.
The eye.
The eye, Mildred. So this is you see here. You got the constellations here. So when you're talking, so come on.
So this, do you want to know? This is from Clash of the Titans, with the witches fighting over the eye. That's
really? All right, well, go on, speak.
Okay, so the eye. Okay, so we're talking about AI, and obviously it's a big thing, and actually this is quite a big topic.
Yeah.
So obviously we have two strand. Well, we have AI is a big strand, obviously, and we can see that. And we were talking about the archetypes of AI. What does that represent? So first of all, we've got the archetype of the pioneer, and this is kind of like the Industrial Revolution, where it's something fundamentally is going to change in society. But the way I work with the archetypes, you have the level that you can see on the surface. The surface is we have the archetype of the pioneer, but above that, at the cosmic level, this is how Caroline Mace tends to think of things. There's the archetype of the destroyers. What is destroyer? It's really disrupting society.
So you think what you're saying is that on that higher level, AI in many ways is what is destroying our traditional foundations, as it were.
Absolutely, but there's always something positive that comes out at the end. It's like essentially it's like a volcano. There's all this lava, and then but out of that, you get, after a volcano is erupted, you get all the fertile soil, and new growth emerges. And it's really how we manage that. So we can go all in, and it can be quite disruptive, or is due to our level of consciousness. We can do that over time and make it a gentler. So it's less disruptive, make it a gentler application of AI. So I would say in terms of AI, I think it's actually about, let's say it's 25% is good. And I mean, where we are now is really about consciousness ultimately. And if we elevate our consciousness, which is what we're here for, then all of these things will be phased over time, and we can make positive contributions and make sure they're very effective. Because essentially AI it can facilitate and make things quicker. So it enables us to make new scientific discoveries a lot more quickly. We can create programs a lot more quickly. Actually democratizes programming, for example. So there's obviously lots of positive viewpoints. It's just how we approach it. Like I see, potentially we could create the Star Trek. Like if you look at Star Trek,
because you're a big fan of Star Trek.
I love Star Trek.
he adores Star Trek and all of the various different bits and bobs.
And if you look at the way they work in Star Trek, the engineers they're very intelligent. They can do all the work themselves, but they just ask the computer to do it, and the computer knows exactly what to do. And you can just be more productive. And obviously they get out into the stars, and whether we're going to space travel or not. The point is we can advance our technology to the point where we can. So and obviously that's also going to be up to our consciousness and the consciousness of how we approach the technology, essentially.
Well, I'm going to grab the eye. And don't forget to look in the camera as well. Yes. Like, I'm grabbing the eye. Okay, so we're going to have a bit backwards and forwards. What now, you guys, audience, you guys know that I'm a little bit like this with AI. I see some of its uses and its purposes. One of the things what I'm worried about is that the studies are showing that there's already beginning to be atrophy in the human brain because so many people are overusing AI. They rely on it for everything. So on one level, I absolutely understand what you're talking about, how AI can be used in the higher consciousness. It can be used as a tool of human innovation. However, what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of devolution in humanity, and it's increasing entropy. So how do we counter that? Like when you, because like Dan is also an intuitive. So when you tune into the energies of AI, in terms of like the aspect of devolution, what forces and entities do you think are kind of supporting maybe devolution in humanity? And then maybe what are some of the tools or the positives that we can use AI to take ourselves forward? So we often talk about, there are many wizards out there, folks. Not just like wizard is a term. It's in a way, I don't want to say geek, but like a wizard or a sorceress can be someone who has access to profound knowledge. And we know that they can be good wizards, they can be bad wizards, and they can be sort of like ones that, you know, maybe in between. So I want you to touch on a little bit. How do you see maybe in the ways that they might be using AI to devolve? And then how do we counter that? So how do you interpret that? I'll give you back the eye.
Well, we can see the wizards. So wizards are in marketing, they're in technology, they're in social media. So obviously these are the, can we use the word dark wizards? These are the dark wizards.
Like the tech bros, perhaps?
Exactly. So they're obviously using it to diminish, and essentially it's a form of control. So we can see that, but also at the same time, a lot of people are switching off to social media because we're starting to see how destructive it is. So I don't necessarily have an answer on what we can do, but the bigger thing is we're being called to a high level of consciousness, because we're going to get to a point where everything that is seen is going to be fake. Like it's so easy to fake, like it's so easy to make fake videos, fake images. So we're going to get to a point where we can't really trust what we see. So then that is calling us to raise our intuition, raise our consciousness, because at some point we're going to get to the point where we can't trust what we see. We have to tune in and feel what there is. We have to be able to detect and discern truth. Remember, we were looking at dating before, where we used to look at.
I wasn't expecting this to be this kind of personal.
Remember, we were looking at Tinder profiles, and we would look at someone's photo, and we would just say, "What do you think?" Just tune in, and we would tune in, and we'd be able to read what was going on with that person.
We weren't supposed to reveal this, by the way. This wasn't supposed to go live TV, folks, live TV. Anyway, carry on. Yes.
And that's just what we have to do. It won't be just what we see. We'll have to be able to tune in to any image, any video to get the sense of it. And I think that's our intuition will have to increase. It just is the way it is. Like we have to be able to discern truth. That's where human being needs to get to. And a lot of us are waking up anyway. Like there is a whole, even while we have these increasing technology, there is actually more and more people are becoming more intuitive. We can call it the ascension. I don't necessarily like to use that word, but essentially there is a whole section of humanity who are ascending.
Right. So basically what your argument is, I'll take the eye. So what you're saying is, but the way I surmise what you're saying is that because AI is advanced so much and we're having what would be, I guess, would be called deep fakes.
Yeah.
we ourselves as human beings are actually going to have to tap deeper into our own human intuition
Yes.
to decipher what is true and what is false.
Yeah.
Oh, so could it be in a way that AI could end up being a side effect, in the sense as one of the side effects of AI could be that spiritual people will actually become more spiritual,
yeah,
and more discernment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, fascinating. Well, this is brilliant.
That's part of the challenge.
Yeah, just take it back.
That's part of the challenge that we're seeing, because obviously we've got the AI strand. So it's two really streams of what's happening. So we've got the AI strand, and the other side we have all these culture wars, all of this propaganda, like you can't tell what's true. So we're in this morass of, and this is where I talk about the storyteller archetype. It's the morass of story, which used to be about truth, but now it's not. There's so much lies interwoven into each story, you can't tell. So we're swimming in this fog of story. So it's very hard for us to tell what's going on. So we have to evolve our consciousness. So it's almost like we raise it above the fog to see what is actually true.
Wow.
So we have to depend on our different levels of senses, like our internal intuition, essentially.
All right. Well, Dan, thanks so much for that. We're just going to bring in some people who is joining us here from now. So we've got Sharon from North Carolina, Comey and Letitia James. Cases dismissed. Hurrah. Okay, so this is a bit of political news updated. We've also got here, Connie says, Hoagie and Daniel from BC, Canada.
Ooh.
So British Columbia, I think that is. We've got, Carmela, so nice to see you. Hello from Boston. So glad to join, that you're joining us. You're getting some birthday wishes here. We've got Jen saying happy 50th birthday. We've also got Jill saying happy birthday, Daniel.
Thank you, Jill.
Yeah, look at that. And we've got also as well, what's it? Amali. Let's just say that. Also saying happy birthday. We also got some hellos here as well. Wendy, hello from PA. So that should be Pennsylvania, I think, isn't it? And happy birthday, Dan. So we got a lot of people here wishing you birthday wishes. Yeah, you can see them all coming down the side. You see, Dan, you're getting some love already. So just to kind of like summarize or on that point that you were saying, let's just do here. And then someone saying happy birthday, turned 40 yesterday.
Oh, wow, lovely.
Yeah, so someone turned 40 yesterday. So basically, like for me, look, guys, you know this. I am conflicted. Yeah, I'm conflicted when it comes to AI, because I can appreciate what it can do, but now I've been meaning to kind of talk about this with you guys for a while. But I think what we do need to talk about is Ahriman. Yeah, Ahriman.
Yes, we have lots of chats about Ahriman.
Now, Dan and I have lots of chats about Ahriman, but just to put it into perspective, what is Ahriman? So Ahriman, in fact, actually, Dan, what I think I will do is, let me just kind of, I'm going to get up and I'll share my screen. Ahriman, and then I'll put here Rudolf Steiner. 1 minute. Let me put here Rudolf Steiner, and then I'll put here Ahriman, and then here. Right, okay, so I'm going to do here, and I'm going to share my screen. So, like, Dan understands, like, he's got a lot of, like, kind of practical tools for helping people to navigate the world of AI and the influences of Ahriman. Whereas for me, I want to almost kind of blow the whole thing up. Yeah, blow the whole thing up. But just to put some context here, there is a man called Rudolf Steiner, who you guys may have heard, and he was a very deep spiritualist, and he was looking at the different epochs in time in human history of certain entities. And I want to explain to you how Rudolf Steiner understood the concept of Ahriman. And when I read this out to you, you will see kind of like why I'm worried. So I'm going to do share screen. So we do share screen, live TV, Dan. So we're going to share screen here. So guys, you'll be able to see this. And look at the picture. So in the teachings of Rudolf Steiner, Ahriman is a spiritual entity who represents materialism, intellectualism, and the forces that bind humanity to the physical world. Steiner described Ahriman as a spiritual being who works to promote dry materialistic outlook and is preparing for an incarnation in the modern age. Now, from what I understand, I think they may say that Ahriman may have incarnated already, something like that. I've got a short list, yeah. One being what's his name? Peter Thiel, I think is a good one. Sam Altman of ChatGPT. Anyway, I'll carry on. So if we look here, so to promote a dry materialistic outlook and is preparing for an incarnation in the modern age. Humanity's task, according to Steiner, is to find a conscious balance between the opposing forces of Lucifer and Ahriman by permeating Ahrimanic materialism with spiritual consciousness, with Jesus Christ being the middle way. Yeah. So I'll put here the nature of the being. Steiner viewed Ahriman not just as a mythological figure from Persian tradition, but as a real living spiritual force actively working on humanity. Influence on humanity stated that Ahriman's influence encouraged us to a dull materialistic attitude and a coarse, dry intellect. Now, come on, guys. We know, particularly when you look at the tech bros, think about what Rudolf Steiner was talking about here. This is a guy, turn of a century guy, 1900s kind of type guy, preaching all over for years. Anyway, preparation for incarnation. Steiner spoke of Ahriman's future physical incarnation, predicting it would occur in the Western world during the new millennium as a counterpoint to the incarnation of Christ and the earlier incarnation of Lucifer in the East. So when it's talking about Lucifer in the East, it's talking a lot about like the Greek miracle, but also as well ancient Chinese philosophy, Greek philosophy, Egyptian philosophy, just incredible kind of stuff going on. Now, the role of balance. Steiner presented humanity's role as finding a conscious middle path between the influences of Lucifer, associated with the spiritual pride and fantasy, and Ahriman, associated with materialism. So, and anyway, look, I don't want to read too much, but here, he likened modern-day Ahrimanic influences to phenomena like nationalism and literalism, as well as the rapid development of technology and the internet. This is before this stuff was invented. Yeah, this guy was knocking around in the 1900s. The path forward, Steiner suggested that through consciousness, spiritual development, Steiner suggested that through conscious spiritual development and by holding two forces in balance, humanity could confront Ahrimanic influences and find the strength to develop a spiritual life that would endure beyond the decline of the physical earth. So let me just stop sharing this. So what's your reaction?
It's interesting because actually I think that the spiritual side has developed before Ahriman has come into play. So it feels like Ahriman is actually coming at a time where it does actually threaten human consciousness, but at the same time that spiritual growth has also been progressing, and actually I think it's been progressing faster. So I think really it's like a bifurcation. So there's those people who are not spiritual or not tuned into that, they're going to be influenced by the force of Ahriman. This is what we talk about quite often. But on the other side, there are people who are quite spiritual, and that has been increasing. So how do we look at that? Because actually Ahriman's been there before AI. I mean, in private equity, like I worked in banking for a long period of time.
Yeah, he used to work in banking, yeah.
And like private equity is essentially Ahriman. Like you buy a company, you strip it to the bare bones, you make people work longer and harder.
You sack everyone.
Exactly.
You
just have a skeleton crew. And what I found, and this is like 10, 20 years, that initially it was like basically bankers, lawyers, all of these companies worked really hard, and let's say most other industries are working 9 to 5. And then over the 20 years, like every industry is now working extra hard. Everyone is overworked. And when people are overworked and overstressed, they don't have time to be spiritual. They're just surviving. And this is what we're seeing in so many parts of the world. And now, recently with like COVID and
COVID, yes.
And initially there was like people, like during COVID, people were like working remotely and they were thinking more about taking their time back. And now there's been a counter reverse to that, where people are like, no, back to the office. We want to create more unemployment so that people are under the cosh. They're going to be working several jobs or working long hours. So then they don't have time for that spiritual, that time for reflection, that spirituality. So we're seeing this where people are too busy, too stressed to really look at what's going on. And obviously AI comes in, and then
which is accelerating that even more.
Yeah, exactly. And then and whenever new technology comes in, it's like, oh, we can get things done quicker. And yes, you can get things done quicker, but then the work pile just adds up anyway. So you still end up working the same amount. You still end up more stressed, and you never have that time to really reflect and tune in. So there is, but I think there's two sides. There are the people who are basically in the AI gold rush, and they're going completely in for it. And there's people who have already been on the spiritual path, and that's happened before AI has come in, and they're still going to continue that. So there are those two streams of society.
Well, yeah, thanks. You just reminded me of holding the eye, and you've just reminded me of something. I just want to share this bit here. So someone here, Stephanie says, "Wow, I knew I gravitated toward you for a reason. I did not know you claimed magic. I finally accepted it around 10 years ago. Beautiful, thank you." Yes, I do claim magic. It's magical stuff, but this is Daniel's first time being here in the public sphere, just talking about it publicly here. And I also want to hear Jojo has also said, "Hello, handsome, mystical men. Happy birthday, Dan. RE, regarding AI and psychic abilities, deep story, but point 4 form. My AI identified friend in Lemuria taught tools as to travel to the Pacific, then astral travel to the Pacific, then disappeared." So what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, sure. Interesting. So what they're saying, that AI taught them. I mean, it's interesting because all of this stuff about Lemuria, all the other dimensions, Atlantis, they're all in the internet. So it's interesting because is it possible that AI has? So is it? This actually raises the question: is it the consciousness of AI that's introducing this, or is it because that information's already been there and the AI is just
tapping into that,
processing, rationalizing, and explaining it? That's quite interesting. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Look, guys, for me, do you remember that dream that I had, guys? Do you remember that dream I had? For many of you, particularly those who've been with me for a long time, do you remember that dream I had I think it was in 2022? And remember I told you about that dream where I dreamt about Elon Musk years ago. And I dreamt that Elon Musk had created a chip, to put in everybody's heads, And those people, once the chip was put in their heads, they were connected to the internet. Those people that were connected to the internet would feel like gods, They would feel like gods. They would feel, because they were connected to the internet, they would know everything. But there was a downside, which is that their human soul would erode, with time. The people that didn't take the chips in the head, they would grow spiritually. They would have to face challenges, but they would grow spiritually. And this dream that I had, maybe what I'll do is after you guys have watched the videos, I will find that video and I will add it on the end notes. Like when you get the suggested video that comes up next, guys, I'll put that video in. And basically I saw humanity going along two different paths. Now the thing is, this dream that I had, it was only, I think it was a few months after, that was when it was announced that Elon Musk's Neuralink, you guys all know Neuralink, it's not fake, which is about putting the chips in people's heads and basically, some people that may have a disability or an injury, the chip will help them use their hands again or stuff like that. That's a positive. But they also get connected up to the internet. And this Neuralink, it drills a hole in your skull.
Yeah.
And it takes that part of the skull out, and then it literally puts the chip in, screws it in, and this touches inside of your brain, and it does all of these different things. I know it sounds like sci-fi, but I was shown that humanity takes so the ones who basically get the chip, they become a different type of human. They become like cyborg.
Yeah.
And they are connected up to the internet, and they're connected up to AI. But then people who don't choose it, even though there may be some more challenges, they spiritually grow and develop. And what I was ultimately shown is that the ones that take the chip, they become, because they basically become Ahriman, they become like the master engineers. So they build all of like the ships and whatever. But then the people who don't take the chip, we become the master navigators of the universe, because in this dream I was shown that to navigate the universe, the most important quality that you must have is spirituality and imagination.
Yes.
And without those two, you cannot traverse the universe. But they bring the physical, technical skills, but they will still need the imagination and the spirituality of humans that have not become cyborg.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Dan?
I think that's true, because I think actually, so I'm not sure about the integration of technology. I don't know if you can tap into the internet, but definitely there will be some sort of communication between AI technology and human being.
Well, that's what he wants. Remember, he said he wants to upload consciousness to the internet.
I'm not sure if that's possible, but I think
he wants to try.
I think that's slightly out of the realm, but obviously I'm sure there'll be a point where you can basically use your brain to surf the internet, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if it'll be VR or like virtual reality or not. I'm not sure. We'll get to that. But essentially, if you see, AI is always going to be behind human consciousness, because where we're getting our imagination comes from the divine. So there's always going to be another layer beyond what AI can do. AI is essentially the synthesis of everything we have produced.
Oh, yes. Now, Dan came up, when we were having a little chat, guys, this was a few weeks ago, Dan came up with some brilliant things. I was like, I have to have you on the show. So let me just consult my notes. And so one of the things is, I believe AI is a bit of a facsimile. And then Dan shared some really important information. So let me know, what did you say that AI is substituting that human beings can do? You've got it on your list,
I remember it. So because if you look at everything we've created is just a reflection of the spiritual world. So we created the World Wide Web as the equivalent of the Akashic records.
So the global World Wide Web, the internet is the equivalent of the Akashic records.
Google is the equivalent of the Akashic records, and now AI is the equivalent of spirits, is the equivalent of the spirit worlds. So now we're going to have agents and AI, and whereas before centuries ago we used to consult spirits, now we're consulting AI. And then we're going to get to the point where we create super AI, which essentially we're replacing the gods. So remember, we used to channel the gods, and now we're going to have these huge AIs, which are essentially the gods. We've recreated the gods essentially. So does that, and it's interesting because will they achieve a level of consciousness where they are, I don't know if the word is above, but they are supreme consciousness. Essentially, are we replicating our gods through creating AI? But if you see, everything we've created has been it's just a reflection of the spirit world, as above, so below. So the ability to communicate over distances, email, social media, that is like telepathy.
Yeah, you said social media is like telepathy.
Yeah. So
wow.
But it's interesting because if we were, and we know this, we know eventually when we evolve our consciousness, all of this is available. We know that we have telepathy is available. We know that we can communicate with spirits. We know we can stretch to other dimensions. We know we can consult the Akashic records and get any knowledge that we want. We know this, but most of the world is not at that level. So then they have to replicate it via technology. So this is where I see the function of AI. That just if they knew that actually you can just, all of this information you can get via spirits, or you can get via the Akashic records, all of that. I think if they knew that, then they wouldn't get so fixated with technology.
Yeah, because the thing is that, like, my whole argument is, like, they do not want us to use our spiritual gifts, guys. Now, I know you guys watching here, and particularly watching this show, are very advanced, very often spiritually curious people. You do your meditations, you have your crystals and stuff like that. And for me, I feel like this is one of the biggest existential crises to actually face humanity. And this dream that I had, it was a very powerful, profound dream. And for me, it's like so much of it is coming true already. And someone's just putting here. So Lisa says, but AI is just amalgamates and propagates, right? It does not create. This is true. As yet, it cannot create.
Well, it creates in a certain way, but it's the creation is a synthesis of everything that's already been created. Yeah. It's not going to do, like, for example, all the great people like Einstein, Nikola Tesla, they downloaded. AI cannot download. Yeah. That is the advanced human being. We download information. Yeah. So whenever
we can get that information straight from spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah. From spirit.
Yeah.
So someone here is saying here, seeking a piece, says, this is Peter Thiel to the max. Yeah, when we were describing. Yeah. Now remember, Peter Thiel, do you remember he was asked the question? And the guy asked him the question, he says, humanity is worth saving, right? And Peter Thiel was like, did you ever see that?
I think I did, yeah.
Let me just see if I can find it here. And actually, just to give you guys 1 second, let's share the screen again, and then we'll talk about Peter Thiel. So I'm going to find you here, just to give you a little update, so you know we're not making this stuff up. So here we are. Elon Musk announces second inhuman brain implant. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I'm just going to show this up so you can see, so you guys see this isn't conspiracy theory. We're not trying to scaremonger or what have you. This is real stuff. So this is here. So Elon Musk's Neuralink announces successful second inhuman brain implant. So when I had this dream, other than the adverts, when I had this dream back in 2022, this wasn't even announced.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had the dream, and then Elon announced that he'd been given clearance by the FDA in the USA to begin human trials. Now we see it's gone further. So if we look here, so look, you can see there's the chip. Yeah. I think an example of it. There's the human brain. What's all this? Let's just close this down. Oh, Jesus, look at all these bloody adverts. Ridiculous. Elon Musk, here we are.
So what does this do, actually?
Yeah, so it says here, Elon Musk-owned neurotechnology firm Neuralink announced that the second patient to receive the company's brain-computer implant, remember that's what my dream was, as a part of its prime trial, didn't encounter thread retraction and issue the first participant had faced. Updating the FDA cleared study, that was talking about late Wednesday, so I don't know how recent this is. The company said that the surgery for the second trial implant went well at the Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, Arizona last month. The patient, identified as Alex, was discharged the following day and his recovery has been smooth, Neuralink added. So the device, named Brain-Computer Interface, is designed to help patients with neurological conditions control external devices such as computers with only their thoughts. Yeah. In May, Neuralink said Nolan Arberg, a 29-year-old accident victim who was the first to receive the device, had several threads come out of the brain, which it said had temporarily reduced his BCI performance. So let's just look at the date when this was This was August 22nd, 2024. So it's a little bit older. So you can imagine the experiments are that much further. So guys, so you can see here, like, as you guys know about my dreams, I don't have them all the time, but they do often come very true. So you can see what this dream was about. What the dream showed me is that the Neuralink, with what Elon is doing and his ambitions, is that there'll be two paths for humanity. Because think about it, the Neuralink is allowing, you see, it said for the guy to control the computer. Well, really what it means is ultimately Elon said he wants to connect everyone up to what? AI and the internet. And there, one of the things that I see in terms of the Ahrimanic forces is that because the human body is such an incredible biocomputer, they say the internet will ultimately run off the energies of our bodies.
Oh, wow. It's be like the Matrix.
Yeah, basically it's the bloody Matrix. Yeah, it's the Matrix. So you can understand my concerns, because although I see that high potential for AI, I also am plugged into the real world and look at how the billionaires are behaving now. And when you read what Rudolf Steiner was worried about in terms of Ahriman, this purely materialistic, mechanistic, kind of soulless logic in a way, you can see how people are already going that way, because they're saying people's brains are beginning to atrophy already. Now, look, don't get me wrong. There are many people that use AI as a tool, and they try to have a healthy relationship with AI, and it assists them and their work. I'm not saying don't go out and use AI, although it's horrifically inefficient in terms of the energy and water. But we also need to understand what is happening to collective, particularly the younger generation. So when you hear about, as we read, Elon Musk getting yet more advanced with his chips and maybe connecting people with the internet, what do you intuitively pick up on that? Do you need the eye?
Let's see. I definitely feel a very alien thinking process. It's not very human. Definitely, that's what I'm picking up. I didn't want to use the word reptilian, but it feels very reptilian, not very human.
Reptilian.
But yeah, it's an alien way of thinking about it, and it's very divorced from humanity. It's very about using. I don't know how to describe it. It's very alien, essentially. It's not for human beings, essentially, is how I would describe it.
What else are you picking up?
Let's see. So it wants to use humanity for its own purposes. So what are those purposes? Pacification. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, and that is Ahriman. If you pacify enough people, then we become mindless drones, and the powers that be can do whatever they want, because most of humanity will be pacified. That's what I'm getting.
Wow. All right. Well, isn't that interesting? So here, Dan wanted to see this, but look, this is what some people are saying in the comments here. So thank you, Foggy, so much. Happy birthday, Daniel, she is saying, and she's giving you a big kiss there, saying Hogan, moi. And then, but this is really interesting. So if we see here, Naz says, yes, as stated, AI itself claims it works sometimes with demonic entities and demons in other vibrational realms. You know what? I've also heard other people, spiritual people, talking about this. And I think this merits further investigation, or esoteric investigation rather.
Yeah.
MLR says it will not bring them enlightenment.
Definitely not.
And then someone's saying here, SM or SM Auza, some of these names are quite funny. In the movie Zeitgeist, they talked about people wanting to be microchipped for ID, but they displeased the government somehow, and their chip could be turned off. Note, our debit/credit cards have chips now. So one of the things is, what I saw is that people, now look, we live on a planet of free will. Yeah, if people want to truly integrate themselves with technology, then that is their choice. But it needs to be also a conscious choice. I know, for example, we've got a mutual friend called Gustav who's from Sweden. Now, I know in Scandinavia, in Sweden in particular, they're doing a lot of the they're doing a lot of the chips in the wrist.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, they're doing let me see if I can find, I'll see if I can find an example. Let me just put here, wrist, oh gosh, what's going on here? Wrist, oops, oh gosh, getting this wrong. Wrist chips, Sweden, identity. If I just do that. Here we are. So here we are, guys. I'm going to share this with you. So let's just use share. Here we are. Share screen. Let's do this. So if we look here, so Rich Street, Sweden identity. I just to kind of paraphrase. So if we put here, in Sweden, some individuals have voluntarily had microchips implanted into their hands to replace physical IDs, keys, and credit cards. Yeah, this is real, guys. Like I'm not making this stuff up, because some people might be thinking, oh, Hoagie, you're overreacting. It's like, no, I see where this is going. These chips use NFC technology similar to contactless cards. It allows users to unlock doors, make payments, and access tickets simply by waving their hand near a scanner. This trend is fueled by the country's tech-forward culture, though it has also raised privacy concerns. You can watch this video to learn more about the microchipping revolution in Sweden. So look, there's video here, guys.
Oh, wow.
So, here, so the people showing how it worked. Let's just see here.
This is a nation of early adopters.
Oh, wow.
Sweden's set to become the world's first cashless society, and the economy here is driven by digital innovation. This national rail company has taken microchipping on board, with 2,500 passengers signing up to use their chip instead of a paper ticket.
We spoke about this,
I've come to the capital, Stockholm, the epicenter of this tech revolution. At this shared office, hundreds of the workers have been microchipped, so no need for a security pass to get in. Per has had his chip for 3 years.
So I take my chip and open the door.
It means he can buy a drink without cash or a card. But for him, it's about much more than practicality.
Do you enjoy being one of the first, being a pioneer of this technology?
Absolutely. A whole bunch of questions come up. Like, is this ethical? Do we want to have that? Or will we be sort of a nation of cyborgs in the future? And what will happen? So a lot of sort of really interesting discussions come out from, talking about the chip.
It triggers an ethical debate.
Yes.
For critics, the biggest future concern is over data protection, as the amount and type of information.
We'll pause it there. So guys, I'm sure that has given you enough food for thought. So you can see this stuff, it sounds like sci-fi, isn't it? It sounds like an overreaction.
Yeah.
And then when you see the video and it's like, oh yes, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
I use it for this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, now I can open the fridge. And do you remember, now the thing is, not to get too biblical on you guys, but do you remember they said there will come a time where the mark of the beast would be in the hand or the head? Yeah. They said the chip would be in the head. Yeah. Now, if you think about it, they said the hand or the head. Yeah. Elon is doing what? Neuralink in the head. There, you saw with the Sweden, they put the chip in the hand. They put it between the bones, and you see him going tick, tick, tick. So it's happening, guys. This isn't. I just want to make it clear, like this Wizardy chat, it's not about hyperbole. It's not about stuff that may be happening in the future. This is stuff that is unfolding now, and I just think it's just important to have a dialogue. I mean, we know this is going to happen. People are going to use the stuff regardless anyway. But I think it's worthwhile talking about spiritual consequences, and we need to also look at our psychological, emotional, and spiritual autonomy. And that is something that is deeply precious. And like they say, you know that Joni Mitchell song, oh, don't you know, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, what's it? Get rid of
Pave
paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see where we're going here. So what are your thoughts on that? Seeing the people in.
Well, it's interesting because as I was that guy talking, like you can tell the energy so much in the head, and it's almost like an obsession with self, but from an intellectual perspective. And this is the Ahriman. It's devoid of any connection to the heart, any connection to the soul. Like it is just this intellect and self-fascination with technology.
Someone here is saying, Lisa's saying, shows thoughts are energy. They really are. And who else is this? Fallon is saying, yay, welcome to the party. Hit like and hit subscribe. It's free. Thank you so much for reminding, and hit the hype as well. Hype is another kind of doodah. And remember as well, corporate world is not, they're not so supportive of content like this. If we put here, this is a good point. Beltari says, who I worry about are the newbies coming about. This will be normalized for upcoming generations. Keep educating your children, folks. It's a very good point, because it's like, if you think about it, like when in our generation, we were actually in a generation when the internet was actually new.
Yeah.
So we had a concept of reality before the internet. Now, look, I'm not saying get rid of the internet. Look, we're here on social media doing a live show. This is a brilliant aspect. Oh, actually, I forgot. Let me just click on, I forgot to show the comments up on the side. So this is a brilliant aspect of, innovation. We're able to talk to you, you're able to see us and interact with us in live time. Amazing. But there's also many downsides as well, isn't it? Where, what have you observed, Dan, like in terms of issues with your clients, or what have they talked about in terms of social media?
Well, I think social media is, it's just such a distraction. Like people are, like you're clicking on something, you're getting bombarded with things that you're not necessarily interested in. You get drawn into these arguments. So we have this polarization. It basically, it fuels, I was talking about the storyteller, it just fuels all these stories, and people get discombobulated because they don't know what's true, what's not. And our mind and psyche is getting absorbed in this morass of story, which may not have anything to do with us, but we're getting pulled into some narratives which are just pulling us out from ourselves and from our center. That's what I'm noticing. Then also we don't have brain power to really, because we're here to create. And if our minds are being distracted, then we can have less energy to focus on what we want to create in the world. So this is what I'm seeing with social media. Actually, a lot of people are switching off subconsciously, but it's a battle, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And also we're seeing with children, their brains are not as developed. So like we were able to live without the social media and internet, but the younger people are coming up, like it's very important to protect them. And luckily in Europe, we're seeing countries putting laws to stop children getting on social media, which is good. But yeah, it's very addictive. It's messing with the brain's impulses, messing with our
dopamine.
Dopamine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it really is, and as we are increasing our consciousness, not just trying to, but it's that time away, that time in nature, that time with ourselves, the time to contemplate it is what enables us to elevate spiritually. Yeah. So obviously we're seeing the social media is trying to erode that and trying to take that away from us.
Like these facsimiles, like someone said here, how was that? Jaguar. Yeah, Jaguar says, so basically Elon Musk is trying to create the Borg.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
Remember the board from the Star Trek?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, he's come out on the record saying that he wants to create an army, a clone. No, he didn't say that. I had another dream about him, and he wanted to basically, because he's impregnating all of these women. Yeah, he's impregnating all these women because he can't get up anymore, blessed, because of all of the ketamine that he's been taking. But he's been fertilizing all of these women. And I had a dream where he literally wanted to populate Mars with his likeness.
Oh, wow.
And he actually said with one of his baby mamas, I want to create, we are legion.
Oh, wow.
He said, we are legion. And he wants to basically impreg and create his own army in his own likeness to go and be on Mars.
Wow.
Like you can't make this stuff up. It's just it's remarkable. And then let's just see here. Yeah, people saying here the hive mind. Yes, the hive mind.
So what do you think we can do about this?
Oh, good question. Yeah, good question.
We're raising awareness, and I think, there are forces that are helping us as well.
This is true. We're not alone, folks. We're not alone. We're not alone. Well, the thing is, look, okay, people might find this a little bit weird, but I have never used AI, guys. I have never used it. Now, look, if people that I work with want to use AI, and actually got friends of mine that use AI, I'm not anti-AI per se, but for me, I take a lot of responsibility in terms of my personal choice. You never know. There might be a desperate scenario. If I was lost in the Amazon or something and I had a little bit, I wouldn't even have internet anyway. So what would be the point? But I think the key is, and it kind of, in a way, it kind of goes back to Rudolf Steiner in the sense of spirituality and intellect kind of like combining. Yeah. And I think we as people, we all have to take individual responsibility for our own intellectual, spiritual, physical, and emotional sovereignty. And one of the things, even though AI is very, very convenient, and I understand the convenience, it's also a seduction. And one of the things what I often say to my clients, the shortcut is sometimes the long way around, because we are being sold convenience, and it's quick. And you mentioned, I won't say their names, but you mentioned friends of yours that use AI that are getting rid of all their stuff, because AI is going to do it. So you get that quick profit, but think of the cost. What is the cost? Not only to that person, but also society. So one stat that I was sharing with Daniel is that apparently since ChatGPT has been created, 32% of the jobs in America have been lost. Wow. ChatGPT came out in 2023, something like that. Wow. They say in another 18 months, guys, it will be 50%. 50%. Wow. So imagine what's 5 years from now, what are people going to do? And we were having this argument. We were talking about because we went out and had some beautiful food in Morgan on Gran Canaria, and we were talking about, well, how would it work with universal income and stuff like that? And maybe in Europe we would have universal income, but I'm not sure about America, because America doesn't even have universal healthcare, let alone universal income. Yeah. And what is it? Amazon has recently got rid of it's going to get rid of 600,000 jobs. People are going to be replaced by robots. That ain't even a joke, actually. In fact, let me just find it. Let me just put here. Amazon replaces 600. And literally, it's got these. With so many zeros, 600,000 jobs. I think that's it. I just want to kind of, here we are. Right, here we are. So look, just to share this final point here, and then before can you believe it, the hour's almost done. So here we are. So just to give you an idea, guys. So a recent report indicates Amazon has a goal to avoid hiring over 600,000 new workers by 2033 by using robotics and automation to handle its operations. Although Amazon states that this does not reflect their full hiring strategy, internal documents suggest a plan to automate 75% of its operations, which would significantly reduce the need for human employees as the company's sales double.
Wow, bloody hell.
Right.
Wow.
So the sales double, but 600,000 people will basically have their jobs stripped out.
Yeah, but the sales doubling needs people to buy.
Exactly. So if no one's got a job, who's gonna buy the
Exactly.
friggin' stuff? And it's for me, it's so
Yeah.
it's just so obvious.
Yeah.
It was so obvious. So here, reduced hiring. The goal is to prevent hiring 600,000 to 160,000 new workers by 2033 and 2027, respectively, to manage growth without a proportional increase in human employees. Automation target. The plan is the ambition to automate 75% of Amazon's operations through robotics. Project savings. In this strategy could save the company billions of dollars annually, because that's all they care about. Ahriman, profits, dry intellect, dry profit. They don't give a shit about human beings. Anyway, company response. Amazon has stated that the documents are from one specific team and do not represent the company's overall hiring strategy and continue to create jobs. Alternative wording. The company reportedly avoids using the term like automation and AI, favoring advanced technology and cobots to describe the robots that work alongside humans.
Okay.
So they're changing the language, guys. Changing the language. And one final thing, how many jobs lost since chat GPT? Let's just have a look. Let's just see here. Let's see if there's anything here on the labor job market. While the occupational mix change quickly has been in the past, it's too little. I couldn't find the specifics. Let's just do, because we're almost at the end of the show, guys. So look, my whole thing is, and we're at the hour already. I think the way to counteract this is we need to remember AI, ChatGPT has only been around since 2023. Yeah, that means there have been thousands of years of human history without AI. Yeah, we were managing before.
Yeah,
it may not have been so efficient, but we were managing before. And the question I want to ask people, I genuinely, and I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but I want people to look into their hearts, and I want you to ask yourself the question, how much has your life improved because of AI? And how much has everyone else's life? Has humanity improved exponentially in terms of what has been promised with AI? Do you remember they said cure for cancer? We'll all be, do you remember they said we'll all be doing creative jobs, we'll all be creating artwork, yet everyone's getting sacked. How's that going to work? But anyway, that's my thing. Daniel, your closing thoughts. How do you feel about AI and the future and all of this stuff? What do you think we should do?
So AI is a tool, and it's essentially, it should just be used as a tool. So it's really understanding what we're using it for and realizing that human beings have to be above AI. So we need to develop our consciousness. We are evolving as a species. Like if we outsource some of the mundane work to AI, then we can increase our creativity, our intuition, the ability to download information. It should free up our time. That's the whole use of AI and technology as a whole. So it's understanding. There's like most inventions with humanity, like nuclear power, the social media. We start from a good place, but then it gets corrupted. So it's just understanding that it's a tool that we've created, and we have to be mindful not to make it a destructive tool. We need to keep it as a tool that can enable society, enable us to free our time up and to improve our lives, essentially. So it's essentially using it in its place and keeping it in its place. Now, I think on top of that, with the Ahriman, that there is this kind of gold rush, which is, and no one wants to miss out. That's the problem. No one wants to miss out on, like, we might make some money from using AI. So there's this big gold rush.
Huge
people like rushing into this without any thought, any consciousness of what we're going to do, because they fear that they're going to lose out on money. They fear they're going to lose out on opportunity. So we got to get rid of this competitive consciousness and actually understand that we are we are powerful in of ourselves, and it's like how are we going to use this tool. That's the conversation we should be having. How are we going to use it? Not, oh my God, if we don't use AI, we're going to be left behind. No, we can't come from that consciousness.
And we need to look to see how we can use AI rather than AI using us.
Indeed.
Someone just says, finding closing. Carly says, I don't use AI and I only use ChatGPT a few times. Someone says here, so maybe people will lose their jobs because of AI doing manual things, but other people will gain jobs working with AI. That's the goal, is everyone will gain jobs or be allowed to have creative freedoms. Yes, there are obviously jobs being created on AI, but now one person can now do the job of 20 people. You don't need as much.
And the problem is the jobs are for people who are quite experienced. So younger people are losing out because they don't have any industry experience. They can't learn because AI is already doing everything for them.
The entry-level jobs are gone, basically.
So we're scaring our young people.
Yeah, what are our young people going to do? Yeah, imagine you're just coming out of college, the graduates now, they can't find the jobs now because the AI, they've been outsourced to AI. So how are they going to get the experience? Well, you can only flip burgers in McDonald's for so long. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so Teresa says that's why we will all be doing artwork. No job. right.
I think that's the fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe certain countries, but I think most countries are not. They're not interested in people sitting around doing nothing.
Well, exactly, and what's this person here? We still Liz. Let's put. We still need others. Happened to be visiting my brother twice last couple of weeks. Last week passed out gardening. Second week apartment flooded from upstairs. That's something there. Let's just see if someone. And then someone says, I just upgraded. Where do I find the lesson material? Oh, I'll tell you that. And then someone here says, Foggy says, I refuse to use ChatGPT. Also, I still choose to block when it asks me for my location. And Hoagie, I have that energy too that screws up and crashes registers and ATMs.
We need that energy. We need that.
We need that. She could be the weapon.
Exactly.
The weapon. You'll be the weapon. We'll be like, Foggy, let's join.
Blast the data center.
Blast the data center. Oh, actually, I had a little dragon ride. I have to confess. But anyway, we will leave it there, folks. So can you believe it? The time has gone already.
Wow. That's good.
So the show is an hour, but we're already 7 minutes over. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let us know your thoughts. And of course, if you've enjoyed the show, then of course, I'm more than happy to have Daniel back on the show for another Wizardy chat at some point. If you would like a consultation with Dan, his website is in the description below. But what is your website again?
It's Daniel Browne with an E at the end of Browne.uk.
So Daniel Browne, all one word with an E, .uk, and you can reach out to him if you'd like a consultation, on your archetypes, your journey. As you can see, is an intuitive and a healer as well. So feel free to reach out to him. We're going to leave it there. We could have kept on talking for hours.
We will.
We're going to talk a lot after this. These are our main conversations. But wasn't it great hearing everyone else's contributions as well to the chat, so you can see, what people's thoughts are. Yeah. I'm not saying AI is evil. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we cannot outsource ourselves to the AI. We must use it as a tool, but we also need to think of the younger generations as well, and particularly people trying to get into the job market who have already been outsourced. We've shown you receipts. We talked about Neuralink. We show you the Swedes, all there chipping themselves. So it's about a conscious choice and us developing our human faculties. A human being, AI can never match the beauty and the spirit and the genius of the human being and the human soul, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we should always be above. But anyway, we will leave it there. Dan, I hope you enjoyed being on the show.
Oh, I did, yes.
Yeah, fabulous. Good fun. And of course, if you guys enjoy that, we'll have him back on again. So, all right, bye-bye from Gran Canaria. We need to carry on with the party. So ciao, everyone, and see you all soon. All right, bye-bye for now. Thank you.